Welcome to the Lost Signals Discusses Film and TV. Using the revolutionary Manzor-Mosi Thurlow scale,
or MONS,
we scrupulously review these art forms with an emphasis on narrative structure. Join us for another entertaining episode.
Hi, and welcome to Lost Signals Reviews, TV and Cinema. Now, Predator was released recently, back in theaters, for some reason. I did not have the opportunity to see it, but I did see the movie like a decade and a half ago.
Well, technically this is called The Predator. The first one was just Predator. That was a difference.
I saw Predator a decade and a half ago.
For future historians.
Oh, wait. Did you see the original Predator?
I was lucky, yes, from what I understand. But we're here to talk about, I guess, The Predator, 2018. I'm Jonathan E. Manzer, here with Stephen Ramosi.
Hello.
Chris Morgan.
I'm one beautiful motherfucker.
And Scott Thurlow.
We all got to get to the chopper after this, so, etc.
All right, Scott, would you like to give the funny log line?
Yeah, so I went with a la Monkey vs. Robot. It's Predator versus Predator, pretty much.
All right, now, Stephen, would you like to talk about the plot?
Yeah, I guess so.
He wouldn't like to, he's just going to.
So, the plot of this movie is that a predator shows up on Earth and gets into a fight with the military guy, and then he gets put into a bus with a bunch of people that are experiencing mental difficulties from their
other
service.
Ex-soldiers, that is, yes.
And various different, mental issues. And then a larger predator shows up with dogs.
Predator dogs. Predator hounds.
Obviously predator, not regular dogs. Come on. That would be ridiculous.
That would be funny, though, if he got it everywhere.
That would be ridiculous. Absolutely. That would.
Immediately kills the first predator to try and find what he brought there. I assume it's a male. I don't know why I assume that.
Sure.
I mean, we could have a whole discussion on why this could be a female.
It doesn't matter.
Anyway, the larger predator spends the rest of the... Well, not only does he immediately kill the first predator, but he lets all of the humans go, and then spends the rest of the movie hunting them for some reason, when he could have easily just killed them then gotten whatever he wanted, and been fine.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out they're trying, like the predator species, I guess, is trying to
evolve itself.
Yeah. Take the DNA of other species throughout the galaxy and make themselves stronger. So he decides that he's going to take the child of the main character, because the kid has, I believe he has Asperger's, and they mention a couple times that is the next step in human evolution, which
sure
would be interesting if they did anything more at all than pay lip service to it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's
we'll
basically the entire movie. But go on.
Lip service the movie.
There's also should have said that.
There's also a little section where they talk about global warming, but that doesn't really matter either.
Lip service.
We'll get to it soon.
So they get into a big final battle. Everybody dies except for the main character and Olivia Munn and his kid. And then they kill the big predator and get a cool suit. So that's it. That's the movie.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's pretty much like a standard. Like, I'm wavering on either a strong 1 or a very, very soft 2.
More on the bog side of bog standard, I would say.
Wait.
Yes.
Hold on a second.
That's well said.
There's one thing about the plot I have to chime in on.
Please do.
The little predator, let's call him the little whatever.
Normal predator.
The normal
baby
predator brought this predator killer
human
suit.
Predator. Human fucking predator.
Yeah, to defend against...
There was
hold
also
on a second.
There's also the question of whether the predators fucked humans, by the way. I just wanted to put that in.
Well, that's predator fucker. Anyway, there's this, they get the suit. The regular predator brings a predator killer suit for the humans. Yet instead of saying like they have a way to translate their stupid language. So instead of saying, "Hey, I have a prize for you," the original Predator or whatever basically kills everybody in his sight. So it's like, I thought you were bringing this to help the humans against this big predator. Instead, you're just It's like you're slaughtering everybody. It doesn't really make sense.
It's what predators do.
He was very disoriented. He was very disoriented.
You know what's
if that's
funny?
what predators do, then he shouldn't have gotten a predator suit for him.
They do make fun of the
They made
name
a joke of
Predator
that
as well.
too. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's not really a predator. It's more of like a trophy hunter.
Trophy hunter, yeah.
Anyways, given all that, like, yeah, you point out like a bunch of like, if not plot holes, just a lot of nitpicks because it doesn't need to, the movie's not trying to make sense. It's like, hey, here's a cool thing and
Perhaps it should have.
here are some details. So like, that's why I'm looking at, you know what, probably more like a 1 because it's, like you said, like it's more of the bog side of bog standard.
This movie sounds terrible. The movie I saw involved a group of American soldiers in Southeast Asia, maybe Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos. I forget exactly where.
It was in Central America.
Oh, is this Central America?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That is true.
Then I got it. 15 years.
That just came out. Go on.
It's a kind of a war movie turned into them being hunted by the predator to Arnie in mud fighting this thing. Mm-hmm. I actually might give it a 3 overall because it's a simple plot, but it handles its acts very well.
Do you know what's great about that movie, though? It's like Dusk Till Dawn, before Dusk Till Dawn, is it starts off as one movie and becomes another movie. I'd give the original Predator a 3.
Too bad you're not rating that.
But
That's why it's great, but I agree.
However, with the plot, there's one thing that makes me crazy. Is every time you involve a kid with a parent, you know that everybody's going to die to save those two, and the only way the parent's going to die is if he's the last one in line and will sacrifice himself for the kid.
Mm-hmm.
What would have made this movie a little interesting and maybe have gotten a 2 for me is if the father had died and the rest of the PTSD crew were tasked with saving the kid. But it was pretty by the ropes and not really done very well, and I'd give it a 1.
That's really interesting. You know what? I was gonna shit on everything that you just said until you said the part about everybody else. If they had all lived and became like his surrogate fathers, I think that would have been kind of cool for the next movie.
Maybe it would have been interesting, but unfortunately, it's not what happened in the film. They didn't write it that way. So
Take no risks.
I'm giving original Predator a 3, but this one officially a 1.
1 indeed.
Yes.
Oh, let's do that. Let's.
No, I don't want to like double cover it the whole time. But
Are you wanting as well?
I'm wanting as well.
Yes. 1 for 1 Predator.
Wanting.
Okay, Chris. Themes.
Well, I got out of it. They made pit bulls look really good. You think the pit bull is going to be aggressive and actually comes and saves the kid. Then the predator actually brings 2 pit bulls, and it turns out that one of its pit bulls actually.
I made this thing.
They're not pit bulls.
Well, it looks like an alien pit bull. Let's just say. An alien,
he's just projecting what he wants it to be.
An alien dog. No, I have no other themes, and you have the really good themes. But I've got to pull this one out of my ass. All right. So, in other words, it goes to show you that on Earth or in space, if you've got a dog and you train it right, it's going to help you, like the one helped Olivia Munn the whole time. If you don't, then it's going to be this murdering predator that you're going to shove a grenade down its throat, and you're going to blow it up.
After they
would you say that it
it
helps to shoot your dog in the head
first
before
to train it? Yes.
helps you?
Because that's what they did.
That's a really good point. I told you.
Don't shoot your dog in the head.
Don't shoot your dog in the head.
Or at all.
Okay, forget I said anything. They did make the pit bull look good, but yeah, I'm going to turn to themes with Scott because I really just pulled that out of my ass because I had to answer something. So,
all right, I'm going to forget everything you just said as you just instructed me to. So here are the themes of the movie. Global warming is coming. It's going to kill us all. Autism is the / Asperger's like afflictions, quote, like that are actually the next step in human evolution. Also, the military is hiding the existence of aliens from us, and that's bad. Like, those are all surface things.
What about, did you say PTSD?
Oh, yes, and PTSD will make you, like, if you have it, it's okay because it'll make you, when the aliens come and fight, you'll be the best equipped person to fight back.
and a comic relief.
Sure, like, yeah.
PTSD was the strongest theme.
PTSD is funny. Is that a theme?
Well, no.
Oh my god. PTSD was the strongest theme in this one, and it was so mishandled.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at, Steve. So, like, I just rattled off all those things.
The other 2 things
I guess I don't get to speak.
You just spoke.
I'm not done.
All right.
All I'm saying is
Go.
that I'm even backing you up, in fact, because everything I just rattled off is paid just lip service. It's like there for 1 or 2 lines, and that's it. So, I mean, go on then. Now you go. That's all I wanted to finish up
That
with.
was it.
Yes. You just didn't let me finish.
All right.
Go on. Now you.
Yeah, I agree. PTSD was the strongest thing, and it was. And when I say strongest, it was like the most pushed theme, and it was not done well. The global warming thing and the Asperger's thing were just nonsense. Like
there's
it
just thrown in.
It just
pull
wasn't.
himself together more. It's just like when things are mundane, he can't really handle it. But as the shit hits the pan, he really can pull his shit together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was nonsense.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give themes a strong 0.
But you're not looking at the role of the Predator, or traditionally. It's about like an honorable hunter,
Duel.
and it's always about the duel. It's he will match you with the weaponry that you fight him with, and if you don't pose a threat, he won't attack you. And I think that's a very interesting monster. And I think those themes are why the Predator has existed as a classic monster in our society. And I think that it was established well in the Predator. Predator. And I'm going to give it a 1.
All right. Well, it was completely mishandled in The Predator.
Yeah, I will.
They
I-
actually did that once or twice.
Again, they pay lip service to it.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
That's basically it.
Predator 1, The Predator, big 0.
Yes.
Agree.
Okay, Scott.
Well,
Antagonist.
speaking of the Predator, or as a monster itself, like, yes, I guess it was a fine antagonist. It certainly was hunting the main characters the whole time. And as you said, it somewhat, I take umbrage a little bit to what the fact that the Predators match you. No, they don't. They have like crazy advanced technology way beyond humans, and they use it to hunt them. Although they will tone it down. They will somewhat level it. All I'm saying is they have greater technology than us, which means they would win outright. But they do have sort of a warrior honor culture, I guess, is their sort of hat in their planet of hats. So in this one, we're now told that there are a tribe of predators, like various tribes, or some of them, I guess, are, again, injecting themselves with things to make them stronger, bigger, stronger, faster, harder, better, etc. So, that's there.
So hard.
So it's fighting the humans, but also fighting, infighting of its species, if you will. So it's all there, but again, on the surface...
Which one's
because
the antagonist?
It doesn't matter. They're both just there. Sure, they're effective because it has to be. They need to fight this otherworldly, monster. But it's not... There's no nuance to it other than beyond, the surface level. I'm going to have to repeat that word, and all of us might a lot in this review, because that's essentially how the script handled it. So, I'm going to give it, a kind of a reluctant 1. Yes, the main characters were certainly antagonized by the predators, and the Predator itself was antagonized by a bigger, better, more badass Predator. So, it was all fine, in terms of that, because of the setup, because of the nature of it. So, I'll give it, a softish 1, but still 1 at the end of the day.
I like the little Predator. The big Predator was... I'm going to use this word a lot, I think, in this review. Nonsense. It was literally a nonsense organism.
Sure.
Of just a mishmash of a bunch of imaginary things
Yes.
that hey, what's in this Predator? You don't know. You don't even fucking need to know. Who gives a shit? Right?
Yeah.
It was just oh, it's the best thing that's ever existed, right? It's the most perfect hunting animal that's ever existed.
The perfect organism. Oh, wait, I'm thinking of another
Sorry,
franchise.
you're thinking of a better movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's I don't know. It's very the parts where it's supposed to be scary are not scary at all. In fact, the last third of the movie I thought was easily the worst part of the movie.
I agree with that, too.
And very boring, and very it was so obvious what was going to happen.
Yeah.
That it became just a
It was like a slog.
I'll admit this before I started this podcast, because I'm getting my blood up a little bit on this podcast. But before I started this podcast, I'm tired today, and I almost started nodding off in the middle of this movie where there's explosions and shit everywhere at the end of it. The rest of the movie was fine. It was not good, but it was somewhat tense, and there were interesting things happening there. A few decent conversations that I got a couple laughs out of. There were a few like
Are you going back to the
good
plot?
action scenes. Well, the plot explains this antagonist that is worthless. So, I think that I'm going to count the Little Predator as a supporting character,
All right.
not an antagonist. Because to be fair, it wasn't trying to antagonize humans.
True.
I think it was just disoriented is what you're supposed to get out of it. The big Predator, big 0.
Yes.
Can we count the scriptwriters as antagonists? Because they get big
We've
one.
done that in the past. They were certainly antagonizing us, but
Yeah.
in terms of the film,
Yeah, this was a Predator film because there were predators in it, and the predators were. It's like
the tautology.
Predator, big
Can
0.
we put up a count of how many times we say Predator?
However, Wait, sorry. The Predator and the big Predator and the Little Predator 0. Predator 1987, big one.
Stop it. Stop rating the other movie that we're not rating. Only Ian can do that.
I'm jealous of that.
Yeah, well,
So I don't get the point. In fact, like, do you remember the Native American guy from
Yes.
Original Predator?
Yeah.
He brought out a knife, and the Predator did not use his gun. He uses it. So yeah, it's a little bit. He's physically more
true.
imposing, but he always matched weapon for weapon.
that's fair.
And if anyone is the antagonist, it's who was it? Predator 2. The main character of that.
Danny Glover?
Danny
Danny
Glover.
Glover, yeah.
He's actually the antagonist of this series because once Danny Glover, who I like as an actor, beats you in an action movie, there's nowhere to go.
Your career's
from
over.
Yeah. But
Thus, you need aliens. Thus, you need
Bigger predators.
better predators because the Predator lost its ability to be scary after that.
Maybe.
well, the thing about the last Predator movie, Predators, plural, is they brought the people to
God.
their planet, which was interesting. But see, but no, Ian brought up a good point about this film is the Predator, whatever, the Little Predator at the beginning totally matched the he grabbed a gun and started shooting it. So he was mimicking the action tropes of the action tropes. So they were doing that. It just happens that you had these action tropes, and then Predator was matching the action tropes. So
I suppose.
Yeah.
I'm still giving it a 1 at the end of the day,
more or
but,
the lesser.
I'll give it a 1 as well.
but certainly, like, I see you guys' point. I just thought it was effective enough for me, although was it great? No. But
What are you
just
doing,
enough.
Chris?
I'm giving it 0.
0 for me too.
Yeah, if I didn't give the monsters in A Quiet Place a 1, this shit ain't definitely not getting a 1.
All right.
So I'm going with protagonist Arnie, who is the great action hero of my childhood.
Mhm.
And here's the thing: is whether you want to give him a 1 or a 0, I think depends on your fatigue with Arnold Schwarzenegger and whether you like him as a character, because he played every other character he did in previous works.
Sure.
But I like it. His puns, his like the mud-covered battle at the end. I think it was overall one of his best action roles.
Yeah, all that shit was badass. In The Predator, we got cut-rate Captain Kirk. He even kind of looks like him. But as a soldier instead of like a Starfleet officer. So, like, he was bland as shit to me. Like, they had to have, I'm going to steal Chris's word, they tried to give him some pathos with, like, the kid and his wife. But, like, again, just the most, like, surface level, the most, like, cheapest way possible you could possibly have that.
Drugstore pathos.
Yeah, and it was, yeah, exactly. And it was there. But, like, he was okay, but not that his acting was bad. I thought he was, like, a fine actor. But, again, for what he was given to work with, it was just the Blandy McBlanderson, none blander, like, essentially. So that's probably why I'm looking at a 0. Everyone else is probably a secondary character, but he's certainly the protagonist, I would argue, for.
I'm sorry. Let me just get this off while I still remember it. He is shitty Charlie Hunnam. If you guys know who that is. That is who this guy is.
Yeah, that's a good one, too. Yeah, for sure. But you see what I'm saying, though? You see what I'm going for?
He I guess he tried. That's all I can say for him. His character wasn't good. It wasn't well written. He was somewhat wooden as an actor.
He was good enough.
Tried.
Yeah.
He tried. But I don't know. I just think he needs a better script if he's ever going to do anything. This guy,
Yes.
whatever his name is.
Unfortunately, he had to work with a weak character, so far I have to give the
I'm gonna
character
give
a
it
0.
for sure.
0.
All right, Steven, supporting.
So the supporting characters are interesting. It's the whole what what are they? The Looney.
The Dirty
Squad?
Dozen. That doesn't.
Yeah, the dirty
Whatever
the,
the hell they
The
call themselves.
Expendables.
It's like
the
Keegan Michael
post-traumatic
Key,
squad.
Theon Greyjoy,
Thomas Jane.
the Punisher. Yeah, Thomas Jane.
The old Punisher, at least.
They, I think, provide fairly decent comic relief. I forget who's the other. Like,
There's one more. Just one or two others.
The Hispanic guy is from something else too. I forget what his name is.
Nettles in the movie.
Sure.
Yeah. But I think they're all fine. I think they all do a decent job, at least providing a little bit of comic relief. I wasn't the biggest fan of Olivia Munn in this movie. I really I liked her back when she was on what channel was that?
X-Play. She's on
Yeah.
G4, I think, or something.
Yeah, G4. Back when she was on G4 as like a personality. I don't think she's great as an actress.
Actually, have you ever seen The Newsroom?
No, I hear really good things about
She
Newsroom.
actually did
I
a fine
understand
job
that.
there.
Yeah, all right.
Sure. But there just weren't
But in
predators
terms
running
of
around the news.
in terms of the Predator and Apocalypse, I'm not the biggest fan of her as an actress. But as for everybody else, I think they did a fine job. His kid was meh, but
It's all right.
and
And his wife was also there.
yeah, the what the hell is he like the dickhead military guy?
Like the MIB guy, like the Black Ops.
He was fairly interesting, if uneven.
Sterling K.
throughout.
Brown.
Yeah.
If I think that it's just the writing for his character is really uneven throughout.
Traeger.
But I think I'm probably going to end up giving supporting a 1.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like, I mean, it's a small group cast. Of course, they're like a squad, like a military platoon. So you missed the one guy, Nebraska, I thought
Nebraska.
was really good.
He was my actually favorite character
I actually
in the
liked him
entire movie.
Yeah, I liked him the most of the crew. But you're right, like Key and Thomas Jane, like a nice like comic relief sort of like 2-man like show essentially, and like that was fine. And they had like a nice sort of fitting, if not bittersweet end, I suppose. But yeah, like Olivia Munn was there again. Like what she had to work with as a character was there, and she did the best, I guess, that she could. Like I said, his wife, the main guy's wife, was there for like 2 scenes, and that was fine, I guess. But collectively, I think they all worked for me. Like, and even it was funny because I thought one of us might mention Sterling K. Brown as an antagonist, because technically he's trying to like prevent them from knowing about how they know about the Predator. He's trying to like, keep it on the
I mean,
wraps.
he does try to kill
I
them
would if
all
I
multiple
remembered
times
Sterling
throughout
K.
the movie.
Brown's character before we got here. So.
Right. So all I'm saying is like he does eventually join them, of course, to team up against the big Predator. So collectively, I think they work pretty well for me for a 1. At least
After this, we're going to have a dance.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 1. Because Nebraska, Trevante Rhodes,
he was quite
did
good.
the absolute most with his part than anybody else in
Yes,
here.
agreed. That's perfectly said.
Everybody else was just, not that Thomas Jane or Keegan Michael Key, they were all great, but they were stock. but Trevante did a great job with what he was given. He actually had the pathos. He did a lot with a lot. He did a lot.
He did
with
the most with what the cookie cutter stuff that they gave.
Yeah,
they gave everybody
with
really.
the shit script. He really did.
Oh, and one more thing, Jake Busey is also in this movie for like 10 minutes.
Oh yeah,
as a sad
gotta have him too.
Before you go, Ian, can I ask you guys what the fuck was the point of that conversation where it's like, when this is all over, you and me are gonna have it out. And he's like, I got my dancing shoes already. What the fuck was the point of that?
That means we're going to have a fist fight after this.
I know what it meant. What I'm saying is there's no point to have that line in there.
Because the script
he fucking
wrote him to die,
dies.
yeah.
He was going to shoot his son's knees off before
There's no payoff to that line. There needs to be a payoff.
See, no, I agree. I know what you're saying.
A
Like,
line of dialogue in a movie.
what I thought, what that line sets up for you, at least what you would imply from it to me, is that after they kill the Predator, then they're going to have a duel
Yes,
amongst
exactly.
themselves.
Something's going to happen at the end of the movie.
But that didn't happen.
But
and
he dies.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's funny.
What the fuck is the point of it?
Like Doom, have a monster movie that's climax is a fist fight.
Sure. Well, between 2 humans, not even the monster. But no, you're right, Steve. I did notice that. It's funny that you pointed out, but certainly there was no reason for that line at all, or that scene.
Like, have
But
a little
anyway.
bit of fucking
Consistency.
care for how you write a goddamn script, please.
Well, we're going to get to that soon.
Sorry, go on.
So I'm just going to, 1 for Jesse Ventura's minigun.
Yeah.
Everyone else is great. And
Bill Duke, man. I love Bill Duke.
Yeah, it's a really well cast, and actually you at least know who everyone is in that movie, and you actually care when
Yes.
at least most of them.
Certainly those soldiers had a lot of characterization.
Sterling K. Brown's character apparently died. I missed it because
I'm not surprised.
I'm
It
like,
happened in 1 second.
I'm like, there was a lot of explosions and guts and people flying in. I told Scott, I'm like, whatever happened to him? He goes, he died. I'm like, when?
And I said, to be fair, it happened in like 1 second. If you literally blinked, you probably would have missed his death.
Yeah.
At one point in this movie, I thought Olivia Munn died, and then she showed up again, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, well, we're getting to that in style.
Terrible fucking,
I think.
Yeah.
Chris, dialogue.
The dialogue was absolutely positively atrocious. I mean, it was just, it started with cliche, dipped to atrocious, and then I guess it kind of stayed there. Yeah, and then it ended on the worst line ever after they have the
what are you talking about, Bubba?
What was it? The Predator killer suit?
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, I'll take one. I hope they have it in a 44 long. The last line of the movie, or 42 long.
42 long, first of all.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Matter.
I mean, really? Somebody actually wrote that. Somebody actually wrote that line.
So I don't know if did Shane Black write it? Because
not only did somebody write it, but it went through several rewrites.
Yes.
And then
still made it.
And then at the end of the movie, the director was like, say that line. And we're going to put it on camera. And then we're going to ship it out. And millions of people are going to see it.
And to subvert the you're one ugly... And to subvert the you're an ugly motherfucker, Olivia Munn tells it you're a beautiful motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
Just like...
Good subversion.
Yeah, it's the dialogue shit, 0.
I don't have much more to say. Like the thing is, like I didn't mind like the callbacks to the like references to the original to Predator were okay, like worth a chuckle. But then I rolled my eyes, so like at the same time almost. So but everything I do agree. Everything else is like stock cliche at best, and just like god awful at times as well. So it's like they try to do a good job, and like I think they have a lot of chemistry as the actors. But like you said, what they were given to say as characters is just. Oftentimes just so giving it a 0.
Yeah, it's much worse than it is good. I'll say that. There are a few
it's like 70-30, 70 bad.
There are a few good like banters that happen throughout this movie, but
some banterings we'll say.
Other than that, it is pretty goddamn bird.
Yeah.
And I cannot give it credit for that, so I'm going to give it a 0.
And I like all those throwaway expository. I mean, we keep talking about how these lines are throwaway lip service. I mean, they'd give lines of expository dialogue. Like,
how many times do they say that's a space alien in this movie?
I mean, but the thing is, it was like there was no conversations really.
I mean,
except for like the PTSD guys with Nebraska. Anybody talked to Nebraska had a conversation. Everything else was just.
Action words here. Yeah, pretty much.
It was dialogue.
Yeah, so 0.
So
for me,
what I remember from 15 years ago is Arnie's one-liners. But that's more, and they're great when you get to the Chapo.
Yeah,
obviously
they have a reference to that in this one.
I believe "Stick Around" is from this one. As he kills someone with a knife.
You're one ugly motherfucker, obviously.
Yeah. Yep.
However, aside from what I attach those to Arnold Schwarzenegger as a character,
sure,
versus dialogue. I'm pretty sure he came up with most of them on the spot.
Or just as Arnold says, "Quip here."
So I might be unfair because my memory is, but I don't remember any of the other dialogue from it, so I'm going to give it a 0.
All right, that's respectable.
All right, Scott style.
This was not a tough one, but. I think it did its job as an action film, although Steve-O will probably build on this. There are some cuts and shots that, like, some of the action sometimes got confusing. But overall, I thought it was fine, like, again, serviceable enough. So I'm going to probably give it, like, the softest of ones. I don't think it was bad. There were just, like, 2 or 3 noticeable things. Maybe you guys have more, so maybe that's probably going to be a 0 for you. But for me, it worked well enough as an action film, even though there were like spotty moments, but they weren't enough to override it. So
I'll tell you, the movie started off great. There was a space battle between the 2 predators.
Yeah, that was cool.
It started off like a Roger Corman science fiction movie. I thought it was wonderful. And they get to in the first death of the alien, or the predator, sorry. This guy was hoisted up by his feet from the trees, dangling, and one of the cut him in half. And Shane Black focuses on this guy's guts falling out from what's left of his feet down hanging from the tree. He comes back to it like 2 or 3 times. I was so excited. That was so great. And then the rest of the movie was just like action. This is an action film. Here's an action shot. Here's some action gore. Here's some CGI action gore.
But I thought it was
Here's
fun.
an action scene. Here's a lot of shots in the dark with explosions.
All right, that's fair point.
And Sterling K. Brown dies in somewhere in all this. And they shoot the Predator, and he doesn't die. And then more explosions, and it's getting a 0 for me. This is like, the first 5 minutes were awesome, and the rest of the film was just, if you've seen one action film in the last 15 years, this is
Interesting.
Which sucks because Shane Black did Iron Man 3, and I love that movie.
Oh, it's a great movie.
Yeah.
He did Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Did he?
He did The Nice Guys.
Yep. And number of other
Wait,
things.
he did. Oh, shit, that's right. What,
Yeah.
So
What the fuck, Shane Black?
did he like fall on his
I'm
head? or
calling
something?
you the fuck out right now.
Dude,
all right,
What the
man.
hell?
was he like calling in this movie? Like, was he in Cancun or something?
Maybe.
Like
Guess we'll never know.
on a birder?
I will say, you know what? I'm probably going to end up giving the style a soft one like Scotty. That scene actually was really interesting when the guy gets cut in half and he's dangling above the like knocked out Predator.
That's what I was going to
who
mention.
is
yeah.
invisible, and his guts fall down on the Predator and like
Thus
reveal
making it
the
visible.
shape of it.
I know.
I thought that was
amazing.
really cool, and like you're right, the space battle was cool. There were a couple other good shots throughout. A lot of it was like, so there was a scene that I've been kind of waiting to talk about where there's
That's why I tossed it to
a
you.
shot where Olivia Munn is on camera and she's like, it's an action scene, and it's just like a close up of her. She's like shouting something, and then it switches to what the hell's the guy's name? The villain, like the
Traeger.
military guy.
Sterling K. Brown.
Yeah, or whatever. I was trying to think of his character.
Traeger.
But whatever. It's Traeger, and he's wearing a Predator gun, and it automatically goes somewhere like right after that and fires, and then you see a dark figure from the back. Its head gets blown off, which, if you're watching this, the proper the proper person that this should be in terms of the logic of the shots is Olivia Munn. So I was like, did Olivia Munn just get her head blown off? You didn't even fucking see her face when it happened? And then the next cut is back to her and she's still alive. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? It was so weird and like off-putting. That is my biggest harp
Gripe,
on this movie.
yeah.
Oh yeah, thanks for
Like-
reminding me how bad the editing was.
That's fair.
That edit was brutal. The rest of it, mostly fine. You do have to pay attention a lot because things happen very quickly and very brightly. But I think I'm gonna give it a soft one. If not, if not for that scene where with the guy cut in half, and then the scene at the end where the two guys are dying and the one's like impaled on a tree,
Yeah,
and
that
the
was
other
cool, too.
and Key's on the ground, and like it's set up that they're like
Best
very
buds.
close, and they fucking shoot each other at the same time in the head to like put each other out of their misery, which is a really cool shot.
Yeah, it was.
Like if
Yeah.
that might I might give this a 1 just for that shot alone. I thought that was really cool, so I'm gonna give it a 1.
and the other thing,
I have a lot of problems, but like I think the good
Yeah.
outdoes.
That's
the
basically
bad.
what I was saying.
the one thing I liked is when the kid is Halloween masking in the frat house behind him, and the guy goes to throw something, and the helmet automatically blows up the.
By the way, that whole scene is definitely an homage to Halloween, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
I took it as
but
such.
I love the fact that he's looking the other way, and the missile comes out of the thing,
Yeah.
and blows up the house behind him.
Sure.
So essentially, the kid killed these. I don't know. For that, I may give it a soft. All right, I'm gonna switch mine to a soft one.
All right.
Because let's put it this way, there's something what I liked, I really liked. It's
Sure.
pretty
Yeah.
much by the there's gems in this banality. So all
Yeah,
right.
all I'm saying is
It'll get a soft one, but I'll give it a 1.
Yeah, my final thought is like, as Steve and I sort of agreed that it works more than it doesn't, even though there are certainly points where you'd be like, well, that was stupid, or like just handled poorly. But the rest of it is fine, and some of the stuff was actually pretty cool. So
Yeah.
I give it a very strong 1. I
Yes.
think it's one of the
I
best
figured you would.
action, horror, sci-fi works I've seen.
Mhm.
Especially with the tension of the invisible predator in this forest hunting. Like, a great thing for like the idea of combat in this location and not being able to see your enemy. Like, I don't know, style-wise, I think it was phenomenal. Strong 1.
fair enough.
Okay, I'm on to recommendation. Yes.
No, for me. Yes on Ian's Predator or Predator 1987. No on the Predator 2018. Skip it. It's complete. Its movie is unnecessary, so That's all I can really say about it. Not worth it.
I say definitely Predator in 1987. I'd say Predator 2 and Predators, plural. This movie, if you're like up at 2 o'clock in the morning and it's on FX or something, whatever.
Go to sleep instead.
Go to sleep. Have a
It might actually put you to sleep,
It
perhaps.
might push you to sleep. No, I'm giving this a really strong 0. I was bored like 15, 20. I don't know.
It's weird because I said to you guys precast, it's I wasn't bored per se, but I was certainly very unimpressed throughout.
Yeah.
So it's weird. I know it's a fine line, but at the end of the day, you don't need to see this movie. It almost serves no purpose, other than hey, let's slap a Predator movie into 2018. But
which sucks because you mostly have a really good cast here.
Yeah,
I mean,
wasted. They could have done a much better job, and I blame a lot of this. I blame the script for a lot of it. I would say, but
and Shane Black co-wrote the script. I don't get it.
So I don't know. Maybe it's just a cheap cash in, but it certainly shows if that's the case.
Yeah, it wasn't good. I don't recommend watching this movie.
No.
You could watch any other Predator movie, watch an Alien
Be smart
movie,
like E and have no time to get to this one and just watch the original. Remember fondly the original.
If not for Ian, this might be the worst reviewed movie we've ever done.
If you want to see this movie, go to Jersey City, go to Newport Mall in Jersey City. You won't make the film, but probably have a better time.
Sure. Well, that's all I got to say about recommendation.
All right, so I'm going to give the final scores.
Okay. What do we got?
I gave it a 9, which is a 9 overall. But for the actual movie we're reviewing, we have it Scott, you gave it a 4, and Steve and Chris, you gave it a 3, which is 3.66 overall.
I don't think it deserves that low of a score. It just happens to be on our scale, but it's pretty mediocre, if not a little below mediocre. So
yeah, I think it deserves that.
That's what I will say.
I almost gave it a 2. I mean, come on.
This is on par with, I don't remember what we gave Fantastic Four, but this might be
equal or
this might be lower.
I gave Fantastic Four a 1.
All right.
No, but Fantastic Four was actually I remember the pun. It was Fantastic 3 point something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's probably
right around here.
It's probably right around.
It's
Fantastic
close.
Four might have gotten a 3.75.
That's true.
If this is
Look
the
it up for
lowest
us,
rated
folks.
movie we've ever done, it doesn't deserve that. It's not as bad as Fantastic Four.
That's true.
No, it certainly is not as bad as
If somebody's
Fantastic
holding
Four.
a gun to your head, I'll say this: if somebody's holding a gun to your head,
or Predator,
and they
even.
say, or somebody's holding a Predator to your head, and they say,
Awesome
you have
image.
to go see Fantastic Four or the Predator, definitely choose the Predator.
Yeah. No.
That's all I can say for
Yeah.
this movie.
Like Chris said, maybe when it comes to syndication, sure, leave it on in the background. That's about all it's good for, though. But it's not a terrible movie. Just no reason for it, like I said. So
watch it while you're heating up your burrito at 2 o'clock.
exactly. Yep. That sounds about right.
All right. I'm Jonathan Ian Manser, and I may not be good, but I sometimes lucky. Here with Stephen Mosi,
Adios.
Chris Morgan,
Hasta la vista, baby.
and Scott Little.
We ain't got time to bleed. See you next time.
Editing and engineering by Jonathan Ian Manser. Music by Christopher Morgan. Check us out on YouTube and iTunes for the shows, and on Facebook and Twitter for updates. Or mods?